Hello and welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a program that talks about the breeding of terrorism and its impact on South Asian nations. Let's begin with the headlines first. Serial bomb blast jolts Sri Lanka, Islamic State claims responsibility. Global leaders condemn Sri Lanka attack in one tone, criticize Islamic radicalism. Indian forces step up offensive against Pak-backed terrorism in Kashmir. And terror attack on government building in Afghanistan, 11 dead. As many as 253 people are dead while hundreds are injured in a series of bomb blasts that hit luxury hotels and churches across Sri Lanka on Easter Sunday, leaving the entire country in a state of shock and lockdown. The attacks have been claimed by Islamic State, which is seeking to revive itself in South Asia after getting ousted from Iraq and Syria. The deceased include at least 32 foreign nationals belonging from Britain, US, Turkey, India, China, Denmark, Netherlands and Portugal. 3 police officers have also lost their lives in the deadly bomb blast. A report.
The Sri Lanka serial bomb blast has left the entire world in a state of shock. Just 2 days after the attack, Islamic State claimed responsibility for the bomb attacks in Sri Lanka that killed almost 253 people in what Sri Lankan officials believe was retaliation for assaults on mosques in New Zealand. The deadly bombings in Sri Lanka over the weekend follow a pattern of religious terror that has become grimly familiar around the world. The hardline militant group, who have lost the territory they once held in Syria and Iraq to Western-backed forces, released a video on Amaq showing 8 assailants, 7 of whom were masked and were pledging allegiance to Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
That the IS has claimed responsibility. All that we knew earlier was that there were foreign links and that this could not have been done just locally. There has been training given and a coordination which we have not seen earlier. We will be following up on this claim. There was suspicion that there were links with the ISIS.
Easter Day bomb blast at 3 Sri Lankan churches and 3 hotels killed about 253 people and wounded nearly 500. Powerful explosions struck in quick succession at 3 hotels in the capital Colombo. First, the Cinnamon Grand Hotel was hit and then the second explosion happened in high-end Shangri-La Hotel. Followed by Cinnamon Grand and Shangri-La, a deadly third explosion also happened in Kingsbury Hotel in Colombo. 3 churches were also targeted in that wave of blasts that include Colombo's historic St. Anthony Shrine, the St. Sebastian's Church in the town of Negombo, and the Zion Church in the east coast town of Batticaloa.
At about 9 a.m. today, I was asked to take my ambulance to the Kochikade church because I was informed that there's a big blast in Kochikade church. So we went there and we whoever there, the casualties, we transported them to the National Hospital, and then we have been advised to come to the Shangri-La.
Security video released by Sri Lankan authorities showed one of the suspected Easter Sunday bombers walking into a church in Negombo wearing a backpack. Moments later, many people were lying either dead or injured here and in churches and luxury hotels in the capital Colombo.
I don't know what to do. And I just saw my daughter on the floor. And I tried to lift it up. It's already exactly the same. Next, my wife is there.
I'm seeing lives dying in front of my eyes. I saw blood, I saw people's hands, legs and all those stuff. It is not making me angry, it is making me more and more sad.
Looking at the severity of the attacks, the Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena's office declared a state of emergency from midnight Monday following the deadly blasts on Easter Sunday. A Sri Lankan junior defense minister told the parliament that initial investigation suggested the attacks were carried out as a revenge for the New Zealand mosque shootings. The Islamic State issued its claim on the blast after Sri Lanka said that two domestic Islamist groups with suspected links to foreign militants were suspected to have been behind the attacks at 3 churches and 3 hotels. Following the Easter Sunday blast, a new bomb was again found in downtown area of Colombo on 24th April. The bomb was kept hidden in a bike near a shopping mall, which was later identified and detonated by Sri Lankan security officers.
I see early morning, 6 o'clock, I see a waiting bike one. I don't know. After come police checking, I might ask you see. Yeah, I see. You say what time? See, 6 o'clock. Yes. Coming after check, army coming checking. After inside, I have one bomb.
The intensity of the Sri Lanka serial blast has left the world aghast, considering the rate at which Islamic fundamentalist groups are spreading its wings in South Asia and other continents. The investigations have revealed that many bombers belong from affluent families, which raises a serious concern over the kind of rage and animosity that is being injected into the young minds in order to attract them towards the vicious hell of terrorism.
In less than 3 months, the world witnessed third big terror attack on a peaceful nation. After Pulwama and Christchurch terror attack, Sri Lanka also had to go through the same ordeal owing to fascist mindset that has emerged out of lunatic religious attitude. Talking about religious lunacy, Pakistan seems to have played the most important role in engineering the idea of Islamic fundamentalism, which is the driving force of terrorism. Attacks in Sri Lanka are a result of the same psychotic mindset which has largely emerged from the terror land Pakistan. The leaders all across the world are condemning the terrorist attack in unison and have expressed complete rejection towards tolerating terror activities and the nation who support terrorism on their land. A report.
The investigations into Sri Lanka blast are indicative of the fact that there were foreign links in the attack, as this could not have been done just locally. The involvement of Islamic State in the attack not only establishes the foreign connection, it also signals towards Pakistan's ISI that must have been in contact with the terrorists for the smooth execution of the attack. It is pertinent to mention here that no terrorism group operates in a vacuum, and each has some type of sponsor to help them stay funded and operational. In South Asia, Inter-Services Intelligence, or Pakistan's ISI, is the main organization that provides aids to the terror groups.
And the scale of these attacks, shows that the militant organization must have been backed by some intelligence agencies. Without the support of some intelligence agencies, such a big operation is not possible. So they must have done recce, they must have done minute-to-minute support. Militant must be getting, and that's how. It's not easy to obtain RDX or other explosives which were managed by them. So it must be organized or helped by some foreign agency. So therefore, I believe this agency must be the ISI. No other agency in the world has such expertise, because we have seen similar attacks in Afghanistan also, which were backed by Pakistani intelligence agency, or in Bombay, or in number of other places in India.
Each group is driven by a perverted ideology that motivates their actions and members. For Al-Qaeda, which is a Pakistan-based terrorist group, it was to push the infidels out of Muslim countries and the broader world. ISIS wants to establish a caliphate, an Islamic state, but with its defeat in Syria, it appears to be filling the void that Al-Qaeda has left vacant.
Yes, radical Islamist terror remains a threat. President's been very clear about that. I think I've been very clear about that. We are continuing to do real work against these evil human beings that went into places of worship on Easter Sunday. We've taken that threat down substantially. The destruction of the caliphate was important and it mattered, and the takedown of these threats from other geographies as well. But sadly, this evil exists in the world, and the United States and all of its partners that are cooperating in the de-ISIS campaign, some 80 countries, and other nations too that are assisting us in defeating this terrorism around the world. We have to remain active and vigilant, and it's going to require attention. There's no doubt about that.
As the Sri Lanka terror attack is an attack on humanity, the world leaders have come together to condemn the heinous attack in one tone. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemned the Easter Sunday bomb blast as he ridiculed the entire idea of terrorism that has become a terrifying factor for the entire world and especially South Asia.
आतंकवाद कितना भयंकर है, हर दिन दुनिया में कहीं न कहीं धरती को खून के रंग सा रंग दिया जाता है। आज श्रीलंका में जो कुछ भी हुआ है, श्रीलंका वासियों के प्रति भारत पूरी मजबूती के साथ खड़ा है। ऐसी संकट की घड़ी में भारत श्रीलंका की जो भी मदद कर सकता है, हर मदद के लिए तैयार है।
While speaking to a reporter at the annual Children's Easter Egg Roll event, US President Donald Trump described the Easter attack on churches and hotels in Sri Lanka as a terrible thing. He also informed that he had spoken with Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to offer the condolences to the United States government.
Terrible thing. Get out, Steve. For a long time, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. It's a terrible thing. I just spoke with the Prime Minister. I spoke with the various government officials that we are working with Sri Lanka. But that's a terrible thing.
As one Japanese resident has also lost his life in the deadly attack, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe also offered his condolences to the victims of the bomb blasts, and along with Japan, the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison also condemned the horrific attack and offered heartfelt sympathy and support for the Asian nation.
Australian government condemn these further terrorist attacks that we've seen. Bombings in Sri Lanka of Christians as they went to worship on Easter Sunday. Bombings in hotels, all coordinated as part of a deadly terrorist attack. Sri Lanka hasn't seen this form of violence since 2009 when the hostilities ceased in that country. And to the beautiful people of Sri Lanka, Australia sends its heartfelt sympathies and our prayers and our support, and our offer to do whatever we can to support you in this terrible time of need. As the day passes and the night passes and we move into the next few days, I'm sure the information will become even more sickeningly real, and the devastating nature of this horrific attack on innocent lives simply going about their day, going to worship on the holiest of days on the Christian calendar, is just absolutely devastating.
200名の方がお亡くなりになられた。法人の方も1名お亡くなりになられました。深い悲しみを覚えると同時に強い憤りを感じます。一生となられた方のご冥福をお祈りすると同時にご遺族の皆様に哀悼の意を表したいと思います。そしてすべての負傷者の皆様にお見舞いを申し上げます。このようなテロは断じて許すことはできません。強く非難いたします。
There have been times when terrorism, driven by Islamic radicalism, has taken its worst shape in order to hurt humanity. The Easter Sunday terror attack is the latest manifestation of this murderous ideology, which only aims at eradicating peace and humanity from the world.
In last 1 year, Indian security forces have made a tremendous progress in uprooting the menace of terrorism from the Kashmir Valley. Stepping up their offensive against Pak-sponsored terrorism in Kashmir, the security forces have recently added 2 more in the list of neutralized terrorists. The forces have also apprehended a Pakistani terrorist who admitted his affiliation to Lashkar-e-Toiba outfit during a press briefing held in Baramulla. His confession is a live evidence to Pakistan's complicity in perpetrating terrorism across the South Asian nations.
पाकिस्तान का रहने वाला हूँ मियाँ वाली शहर म्याना मोहल्ला नई आबादी लश्कर तैयबा से मेरा ताल्लुक है उम्र 27 साल 2017 4 महीने
Mohammad Waqar Awan, a resident of Mohalla Mia in Miawali area of Punjab in Pakistan, was tasked to revive militancy in certain areas of Jammu and Kashmir after Indian security forces declared those areas militancy free. Awan alias Chota Dujana confessed before the media that he had received 4 months training in a terror camp base in Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
ये जो आपने अभी देखा इसका नाम है मोहम्मद वकार आवान, कोट छोटा दुजाना, रेजिडेंट ऑफ मियाना मोहल्ला मियावाली पंजाब पाकिस्तान। 2017 जुलाई में यहाँ पे आया है क्रॉस करके एंड ही वाज एक्टिव इन हंगवारा एरिया। आफ्टर दैट ही वेंट टू श्रीनगर और पिछले पौने 2 साल से ये श्रीनगर में मुख्तलिफ जगहों पे ऑपरेट कर रहा था विद इन श्रीनगर सिटी।
Within a day after the arrest of the LET operative in Baramulla district, Indian security forces neutralized 2 more terrorists affiliated to Jaish Mohammad in Anantnag district of Jammu and Kashmir.
1 AK-47 and 1 SLR and a huge quantity of ammunition has been captured from their possession. Both of them belong to Hizbul Mujahideen and they've been active. One was active since 2017 and the other one became active in June 2018.
The ongoing crackdown of Indian military on Pak-backed terrorists has certainly sent chills down the Hizbul Mujahideen, Jaish and LET commandership operating from Pakistan. Giving an account of success Indian security forces have achieved against Pak-sponsored terrorism in Kashmir, security officials released a statement regarding number of terrorists neutralized during the operations.
This year, total of 69 terrorists have been killed, 12 apprehended. Post Pulwama, 41 terrorists have been killed, and out of them 25 belong to Jaish Mohammad. And out of the 25, 13 were the foreign terrorists, Pakistanis, and 13 were category A plus and above. So basically, we have targeted the Jaish Mohammed leadership. The situation now is, there is no one coming forward to take on the leadership of Jaish Mohammed in the valley. And in spite of Pakistan's best effort, we will continue to suppress Jaish Mohammed, especially after Pulwama.
Last year's killings also included a very big number of Jaish Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba commanders and operators. Their number during the last year and the current years is 46. 27 of them belong to Jaish Mohammed and 19 to Lashkar-e-Toiba. So with that foreign element getting neutralized, that also made a big dent to the ongoing militancy. During the current year also our successes have been quite commendable. Our troops on ground have done a very good job. Around 70 militants have been neutralized and a very large number again has been apprehended.
The officers also added that the entire leadership of the JEM has been decimated and remarked that no militant operative is ready to head the terror outfits. Pakistan, the chief perpetrator of terrorism in Kashmir Valley, should now be hell-bent before the global community after Indian forces provide live evidence to corroborate Pakistan's involvement in stalking militancy across Kashmir. In recent years, Indian forces have further upped their offensive in countering terrorism in the valley, which has also jolted Pakistan, that has remained a chief perpetrator of terrorism in South Asia.
Giving a major blow to the US-led peace talks in the war-torn Afghanistan, a suicide bomb blast in a government building in capital city Kabul reinstates the country still under battle against terrorism. The militant attack targeting the government offices in a busy commercial area took 11 lives and injured many others. A report.
Despite continued efforts to open peace talks with Taliban, Afghanistan doesn't see a daylight when the territory is safe from any blast or militant attack. A few days ago, a suicide bomb explosion ripping through a multi-story building in a commercial area of Kabul city took 11 lives and left several injured. Assailants armed with guns, grenades and suicide bomb jackets stormed the 18-story government office during midday and resorted to unrestrained gunfire and explosions. Soon the alerted security forces sprung to action and engaged the militants in a 5-hour-long gun battle and were able to evacuate 2,000 people from the condominium that housed the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology.
عکسای مهاجم داخل وزارت ما شد دیگه یکیش انفجار کرد دیگه تا حالا هم دیگه زدن میرن
ما در دفاتر خود بودیم زمانی که انفجار صورت گرفت در دفاتر خود بودیم بسیار یک انفجار قوی بود بعدا ما به دفترهای سیوروم رفتیم همه همکارای ما در منزل دفتر سیوروم است و بعدا دیگه انفجارهای پای هم دوامدار بود فایرها شلیکا به اندازه زیاد بود.
A Chinese survivor from the multiple attacks recalled the horrible moment at a government office building in Afghan capital, Kabul. He was one among the 3 Chinese who survived the explosion in the ministry building targeted by the militants. With the help of the Chinese embassy in Afghanistan and the Afghan government, the trio survived the fierce attack launched on the government building.
About 11:30左右，然后我就听到了一声巨响。当时给我的感觉就是在150米到200米之外，然后我就立刻返回机房，返回那个所在大楼的机房，在大楼里面困了大概2小时左右。然后其实中间的话一直都会，和我们的本地安保或者说大使馆，他们也会联系，然后再同步一些信息。然后后来在2小时过后，我们收到紧急通知，然后从萨拉姆后面的楼翻墙至大门口，然后从大门口一路向南走，去到集市，然后脱险。
Hundreds of workers from the Communications Ministry, the Ministry of Information and Culture and the Central Statistics Office were escorted away from the building, along with several young children at a childcare center for ministry staff.
سر نان بدین دفتن یک انفجار شدید شد همین طفلک‌ها مشقابای نان از پیشن برای چیغ زدیم گفت طفلا نجات بدیم همراه معلم ما رفتیم در اتاق سفرین رفتیم که دروازه اجری است همونجا خود گرفتیم تا یک لحظه که یک عملیات شد باز ما را نیروی امنیتی کشید تشکر یک جهان از نیروی امنیتی که ما را نجات دادن کشید خداوند یار نگهدارشان باشه همیشه تشکر شما.
The government condominium came under suicide attack was close to the popular Serena Hotel, one of the very few Kabul hotels that was still being used by foreign visitors, has turned a deserted location in aftermath of the terror attack. The recent suicide attack has marked a return of complex attacks in an urban center which have killed hundreds of people in Kabul and other Afghan cities over the years.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Surbhi Sharma signing off on the behalf of entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.